Hi everyone, this is Brenda with WorkShopScraps by Brenda. I'm trying to show a video of some of the things I did for Valentine's Day. I made some candy gift boxes and bags for co-workers on my job, and I made about 12, and then I thought, should have taken some pictures. So I just have a few things left over. Thought I'd share with you, and I'll try to do a tutorial of one. I'm using tags, bags, boxes, and more 1 and 2 by Cricut. To make my boxes and color my paper on some of my paper on my Imagine, but my Imagine is acting weird, so it's not doing everything I need. So I have the Cricut Expression, the Expression 2, and the Imagine. So I used my Gypsy to make it easier, and I also bought the scoring blade for the Cricut. So let's get started. The first few cartridges I'm using are these. This is tags, bags, boxes, and more too. And so I'm just kind of practicing with it. I found that if I made the box out of plain white cardstock and then use the Cricut markers to make my score line just on a sample, I can kind of see where the score line should be, because I think I may not be using the scoring blade correctly, because on some of my papers I really can't see it or feel it, and so I went ahead and cut out the box in plain white cardstock so I could see it. And here's a sample of one like this. And then I used this is the milk carton, because what I did with the milk carton is I printed my paper on the Imagine, but you can't reload it to the same spot on the Imagine in order to use the scoring blade. It just spits your paper out, so you won't be able to match it up. So what I did is I printed this out on the Cricut Expression, and then I cut the design on the Cricut Imagine. I put the same size. I noted the size on my Gypsy. I put the same size best I could in the Imagine. Then I colored in the shape before it cut with this design. And this is the Teresa Collins black and white Imagine cartridge, and that allowed me to make this milk carton. Oh, the picture's so dark. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. See if I can get more light. Hang on. Alright, let's see. That's a little better, I think. But this is the carton. So it started out as pink cardstock. I just kind of played around with it and did different things, and this is just a strip of pink cardstock, and I use a scoring blade for my cutter, viscous paper cutter, with a piece of the extra cardstock, and I didn't want to waste it, so I just put a band at the bottom of this carton and inked the edges with Memento, I think it's Tuxedo Gray ink, and put some pink ribbon, and then I used some jump rings from Jewelry Department for this tag. It's just a scallop tag in gray and a circle tag in pink. I inked the pink with the gray tuxedo ink, and then I used just acrylic paint to make the pink dots. I wanted it to be opaque. I didn't want it to be, white. I wanted to kind of match what I had, so I just used pink acrylic paint from the craft department. And this is a binder clip, plain office tiny binder clip, and just put some pink, gray, and white ribbons on it. I like that combination of colors. This is filled with Russell Stover's chocolate caramel hearts. They sold them for Valentine's Day, and there's one person left on my job that didn't get a basket or bag of Valentine goodies, so I'm going to take those to her tomorrow before it's too late past Valentine's Day. But that's what this is filled with. It's pretty heavy. And then I made this with Cricut tags, bags, boxes, and more too. This I have on my Gypsy, excuse me, and it's just, I'm not sure which box it's called, but it's on tags, bags, boxes, and more 1, and I cut it out with a window, and then I made, these are the Hershey's, I think they're Hershey's nougats, chocolates, and I covered them just with gray paper that I embossed with the tiny hearts embossing folder from Hobby Lobby. I may still have it out. Let's see. It's in the Cuttlebug, but it's hearts by Hobby Lobby. And then I cut a tiny punch of hearts. I really don't have any heart punches, But I have this teeny tiny one that you get for $1 at Michael's. Someone gave it to me in a goodie bag, and I'm usually a little bit more organized, but for some reason I can't locate it, so just have to take my word on that. And I really cleaned my craft room, but that's when I punched these little hearts out. I kind of wanted you to be able to see the individual candies. And then this is just a tag. It's gray with the embossed hearts from the Hobby Lobby Hobby Lobby. I can't remember, the paper studio. I cut this out from the, really with my gypsy on the Cricut. And I think this is a tag from Wild Cards. And it just says Happy Valentine's Day. And this is elastic tie or ribbon that I have a whole roll of. And I just punched a hole and put it on there. And this paper, I printed it on the Imagine. Is that right? It's upside down. I printed it on the Imagine. But like I told you, I can't get it to line up to cut like I want. So what I did was I tried putting the box shape and just having the shape, this color of this paper that prints on the Imagine, but it printed too small. I did fill page, fit the size. It still printed too small. So I just made some squares on the Imagine, use a basic shape, and fill that square in with the color of this printed paper. And inside the box, I folded it inside out, so when the candies are gone, you can still see the pretty design inside the box. Okay, next I made a sticky note holder, and there are plenty of tutorials online and much better ones than these. This was just a quick one that I just scored the paper, cut it at 3 inches wide, and hot glued my notepad down and chopped the corners, rounded them with the We Are Memories corner chopper. The small, I think it's a 1/4 inch. Yeah, small 1/4 inch corner chopper. And then I took a Velcro dot, the sew-on kind that I got from the sewing department at Hobby Lobby. But because my flat wasn't long enough, I cut it in half, which is fine, and I hot glued it on. And I think I'm going to use that going forward, because I find that when I use a full circle, it either sticks too hard and you have to use too much effort to pry it loose. So I like that. And I just kind of matted some shapes from the paper that I printed from the Cricut Imagine cartridge, and blinged it and used one of these, it's not a gel pen, it's this pen. It's a glitter pen by Gel by Sakura. Can't really pronounce it, but it's clear and it just makes everything kind of shine a little bit. You might be able to see it, but simple, gets to the point. All right, next I cut this is just I ran 3-inch strips of paper through my, what you call this thing, through my I'm not sure what you call this, crimper, through the crimper, and just turned it through. And then I actually took my paper trimmer and trimmed each piece of paper down about 1/8 of an inch. 1/8, yes, of an inch. Some are a little wider, some a little smaller. They were just scraps that I had left over, mostly from the boxes that I had cut out, and some that I inked wrong, or the paper slid off of the mat when I was cutting. It just matched, so I thought that was pretty neat. And I made, I want to say 10 or 11 different little gift bags, and they all have different size boxes, different shapes of boxes. I want to show you something really pretty. I tried to do each person's favorite color, or something that was meaningful to them, but even though it was Valentine's Day, it wasn't really just for Valentine's. So they got maybe a tag with a heart on it, but it was their colors. And unfortunately, I've given them all out, but I wanted to show you this paper I got at Hobby Lobby. It's like more of an old-time, vintage, nostalgic Valentine's card kind of paper. So I did a really nice bag with a French fry box and the notepad holders, and just really cute with ribbons and the little individual blings for that, with a red ribbon. That was for one person, and I try to get pieces of everybody's box, but you'll get the idea. This was a green one. The nurses on my job, she likes green, so this paper came from a Christmas stack. I just used this as my base for my cards, and I used like a silver and stickles for accents for hearts, and put this same basic kind of gifts in it, but added some miniature hand sanitizers that had the holder that you put on your book bag or your purse that matched her green. And they all got chocolates or peppermints, or you know, a combination of things. This is just a tiny piece that I had left over from a stack in from Hobby Lobby. They had these two small, I want to say 6x6 or 8x8 stacks of Valentine paper, and I loved it. And I used this to make sour cream containers long, and I put ribbon on them with little handmade roses, and they were very pretty. So sorry I don't have any pictures. And this was interesting because one nurse, she likes purple. Everything's purple, and it was kind of dark, and I just did different. This isn't the actual one, but I used my Imagine to print on it, so I can have some kind of contrast. And then I used the accent of gold and embossed it with the hearts and florals to make it more feminine for her, and ribbons, and then made that candy. This candy box that's on tag bags, boxes, and more too, which is kind of interesting to make. It's very pretty when you finish, but because I don't think I'm using my scoring blade right, it was a challenge. I did get it done. Everybody oohed and awed and loved it. So I just need practice with it. Let me see if I can find it. And I know this video is getting long. While I'm looking, here it is. It's a cracker box. But it's really neat once you get it together, how you open it and close it, and it's very pretty. Thought that was nice. And I'll do a tutorial later on how I lined up my score marks. Some people can eyeball it. I myself personally don't eyeball well, and I just make sure I have the same size when I'm cutting it on my Gypsy for the box and the scoring line, as well as when I line it up, I look on the X and Y axles and make sure the numbers match, and they score up perfectly. Okay, this is also in tags, bags, boxes, and more too, and I think it's a candy box. I don't know if I'm telling you the right name for it. Let's see. Yeah, it reminds me of an old cigarette box, but nobody smokes these days. Well, some people do, but I'm sure that's not what they call it in here. I think it's called a candy box, but I don't want to spend time on it. I printed this paper. I printed these boxes out on the Imagine. This is one of the images on one of the cartridges that comes with it. Probably Imagine and More or something, but I wanted something different. It's the only one I could find really with red that wasn't too kitty. I wanted something that was kind of vintage-ish, I thought. It printed out more blues, so I inked them, I put them together, looked on YouTube and found a tutorial of somebody putting it together because my mind wouldn't work right until I saw it. Made about 12 of these, inked them all up. You can see them. I have a lot left over because, oops, my mind changed. That I didn't give everybody that. I was going to give everybody the same thing, and I changed it at the last minute. But I made some paper roses, little flowers. This is a stick pin through a heart, and just a lot of detail work. And I still can use them for different things. Like all of them aren't decorated. Then I cut little. The person I did give this to, I put 2 packs of that long, I think Orbit's gum in it because it was tall enough. And I wrapped it in tissue paper, and I trimmed the edges of the tissue paper with like a scallop scissors so it could be, you know, kind of pretty. You can tell I put some detail to it. And then this ribbon started out as a white organza ribbon, and I didn't have red organza, and I mixed up some homemade glimmer mist with a little acrylic paint and spritzed it in my little box and let it dry, and it turned out really pretty. So I went ahead and put bows on all those boxes, and we'll see what I do with those. And I want to say last but not least, I tried to print a picture of something else I did. They didn't turn out right. Let's see. You can't really see this. This is one of the Valentine gift bags that I gave. Let's see. You can sort of see it. It's prettier in real life, and I'll tell you what, I always have a funny story. Here's a funny story for this. It's one of the doctors that I work with is a guy, and so I didn't want it too girly looking, so I made the nut cup from Tax Bags Boxes and More one, the first one. And I made it huge, and it's black, and I cut it twice, and I did these red panels on it and embossed it with the cut-a-bug with the hearts or something. And I just made a lot of these from these little hearts in different colors from the Doodle Charm cartridge, and cut them and put faux stitching on them. Some I put dots on, just a whole array of them, and put them on the side and use them as I needed. But the funny part is this, I didn't give him a bag. I gave him a one of those shrink wrap bags that you can put on here. So I put it on. It was too big. I cut it. I put a ribbon around it. This is just a skewer, a large skewer that I cut down, and I painted with red with acrylic paint. And I'm sorry the picture doesn't do it justice, but it has little hearts glued to both sides. And then it has a personalized glimmer misted tag that says to and from. Well, here's the funny part. I proceed with heating this shrink wrap with my heat gun, you know, because I know the heat gun gets very, very hot. So I was very careful, and I was moving it back and forth, and it melted because this wasn't shrink wrap. It was just a regular gift bag, plastic. So I had to peel that off and put another bag on it. But that was the funny part. So I hope you like this video. Stay tuned for others. I am going to actually try to do one on camera so I can show the details of how I use my Gypsy. I just saved a file called Valentine's file, box with a window, and add pages. So if you don't have a Gypsy, sorry about the glare. This is my favorite thing of all Cricut. Of course, I have to have a Cricut machine for it to work, but I love it because I can design on screen, and I usually use the Cricut Design Studio version versus the Cricut Imagine version, because on the Cricut Imagine for the Gypsy, you can't move your images on the screen. You can't weld them and all that. So usually I use the Imagine to color the paper or color the image, but I really like using this. And so here you can see my box I made with the window, and I used 6x6 pieces of paper for the box overlay, the bottom. And this is the acrylic sheets that I use, and because I had 2 spaces, I just went ahead and set it up to cut 2 because I knew I would make more boxes. That way I didn't have to try to figure out what to do with that other little piece of paper or acrylic that was left. And these are the tags. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will have another one posted later. Please leave a comment. You can also visit my blog. I'll be updating some new pictures of other things I've created, and that's www.workshopscraps.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.